power. Craft power. Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope you're doing well. We're talking clones, dupes, whatever you want to call it, inspired by 15 of the creme de la creme. The stuff that is worth every penny, the type that when you buy it, you're like, this should be 3-4 times as much as I paid. I saw the macaroni in the pantry and I was like, I know what I gotta do. Craft power! All of these are gonna be linked in the description. Feel free to check them out down there. Let's start right here with Armoff, one of their new ones, Odyssey Toffee Coffee. They have been coming out with a lot of these Odyssey releases. I think they dropped 5 at one time, and this was one of the 5. I gotta get this macaroni and cheese out here. It's distracting. Every time I look at the camera, it's just like right there. It's like, why is that there? But yeah, this is one of the new Odyssey fragrances, which has somehow become, I think, their most popular line, at least the one they're releasing more stuff from. You would think it'd be Club de Nuit Intense Man, but they release like, you know, 1 a year, it seems like, of those. But Odyssey, they're like, let's go, baby. And this one kind of tells you right away what it is, toffee coffee, and then on the side, cafe edition. So it smells very similar to Mancera's Amore Cafe. And there are a couple of other fragrances out there that are kind of inspired by that one. But I will say, of the ones that I own, this is probably the best one. And it even has like a little coffee design on top. That actually doesn't matter at all. So if you're unfamiliar with that Mancera for any reason, you should know it is sweet, which is par for the course when it comes to Mancera, to be fair. And obviously this is going to have a lot of coffee in it as well. If you go really heavy, it could come across slightly sickly in the sense that it is overdosed with that sweetness. But if you're familiar with the Amore Cafe, super similar to that one. Really good performance, and if you're a fan of cappuccino style fragrances, stuff is great. During fall and winter time, perfect. It is that type of fragrance though that potentially, depending on how much your girlfriend or wife or significant other or whoever really enjoys coffee, you know, they might steal this. Next up, a newer fragrance, at least for me. It is Jubilant Vitality by Maison Alhambra. And yeah, I mean, just look at it. Would you look at that? Just look at it. You don't have to be a rocket scientist or a genius to take a look at this and know kind of what the deal is. It smells similar to Eros Energy by Versace. Now, one issue that I have sometimes with Maison Alhambra fragrances is that they do have like a little more of a cheap edge to them compared to a lot of the other clone houses out there. And of course, Alhambra is part of Lattafa, part of that Lattafa umbrella. But it also makes sense why they would smell a little cheaper, because they are a little cheaper. Most Alhambras are about 20 bucks, sometimes under that. You can find them like $18 sometimes. And if memory serves, that's about what I paid for this one, right at about 20 bucks, maybe slightly under, but right around there. Now it is gonna be overdosed with citrus, which you would expect because that's what Eros Energy is. And I personally love that. I love that big blast of citrus, but some people don't. So be aware of that. If you're somebody who typically doesn't go for citrusy fragrances, even though this is 20 bucks, you're probably not gonna go for it, so don't waste the money. But if you do like Eros Energy, this is really, really similar to that. The opening extremely well done. If you like that big mix of citrus notes off the top, and it stays pretty similar pretty much the whole way through. One thing I will say is Eros Energy, a little bit stronger than this one though, so be aware of that. For 20 bucks, can't go wrong. Got another Armoff up next. It's this one, the pride of Armoff, Admiral, which this is one of those clone fragrances that pretty much came out and just, you know, nobody cared. Like completely under the radar, nobody talking about it. And on the one hand, it makes sense. And then on the other hand, it doesn't. And I'll tell you what I mean. In terms of quality, it's actually really good. Like this stuff smells fantastic. Big compliment puller. People love the way it smells in general. Really modern, very sweet, a lot of vanilla in here. Touch of freshness off the top though. Presentation overall looks pretty good as far as Armoff fragrances. Like it's decent looking. The paint scheme makes it look slightly more elevated than the original Pride of Armoff. So with all that, you would think, well, surely people would have talked about it, hyped it up, whatever. And also, it's a clone of a fragrance that a lot of people absolutely adore, especially for fall and winter time, myself included. Invictus Victory Elixir. So what's the deal? Has nobody talked about it? Well, I feel like a couple reasons. First off, the original, the Pride of Armoff, did not get the same amount of support as something like Lattafa's Assad, right? Not that Pride of Armoff smells like Assad, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the name doesn't carry the same gusto. So when a flanker comes out, people don't go, oh my God, I gotta get it. Instead they go, Pride of Armoff, what was that one? I don't know, whatever. Also the name Admiral, is not really telling a whole lot. It's like an aquatic fragrance. Oh no, it's a vanilla. Okay, right. And there are also a few other alternatives to Invictus Victory Elixir out there. So it's not like this is the only one. And it also wasn't like the first big Invictus Victory Elixir alternative. So I think all those reasons combined, it just kind of flew under the radar. But if you are looking for an Invictus Victory Elixir clone, this one of the best. Before we hop to the next fragrance, you know what time it is. It's code time. And there are a few of them. Yes, there are. Lucky Scent, you can save yourself some money right there if you don't want to pay full price for niche. There you go. Twisted Lily had that code forever, it still exists. And then if we're talking discounters, Joma Shop, they only work within the app. Gift Express, the Perfume Box, Beauty House, all kinds. So use those codes, save yourself some money. Let's see, what is next? Also almost forgot, I got a couple clones I'm gonna give away to you guys, but that's later on in the video. Next one right here, Faris Al Arab by Maison Asrar. Kind of an interesting bottle style. This one smells similar to Blonde Amber by Clive Christian. And of course, we already know if the name is Clive Christian, the price is high. Frankly, that's like 90% of their marketing. And what's funny about that is, I'm not exactly joking. A lot of their stuff is like, yeah, we're freaking expensive and you can't afford us. Are you like the highest quality? You guys are just really trying to push all the boundaries? Like, what's the deal? No, we're just really freaking expensive. That's us, baby. Yeah. They do have some stuff that smells amazing though, which is why this also smells amazing. Got a lot going on here, fruity sweetness, some booze, tobacco, vanilla, incense, just a bunch of different vibes going on. Together, it smells extremely high class, sophisticated with a nice bit of sweetness in there, which is going to really help for pulling positive attention. This stuff is top notch. Smells great, which is why I went ahead and splurged and picked another one up. And also the new Club de Nuit Pursue 4, which I know this is for women, I think, but we can make it like a 2-for-1 for the guys and for the girls. You get gifted or something if you don't want it. I don't know, man. But we'll do that giveaway a little bit later. One more Armaf, last one for this video, I promise. It's this one right here, Blue Sky, which is one that I picked up recently. And this one is kind of like a twist. So it smells similar to Scent of Peace for Him by Bond Number 9, which is a fragrance that actually has been like underground popular. I don't even know if I want to call it underground popular, but one of the more popular fragrances for men from Bond Number 9 for a long time. Underground popular. Ooh. And it's always been kind of funny to me because that was one of my favorites from Bond Number 9. I think the stuff is just really easy to wear. Got compared a lot to Aventus when it first came out. But when you do a side-by-side of that one with Aventus, you realize like, oh, yeah, it's not actually the same, is it? It reminds you of it a little bit, but it's doing its own thing. So this one is really similar to the Bond, but with more of a twist, more of this like fruity sweetness off the top. And there is a bunch of that here. There's pineapple, there's citrus, there's apple, there's black currant. So all of that going on when you first spray this on. Lasts a really long time, super versatile. It's really, really good stuff. And price-wise, it's about 30 bucks. So at that price point, you're getting something you can wear all year, daytime or nighttime. Really fruity and sweet and fresh off the top. Which of course people always love. So it's just one of those scents that like, you just don't have to think about. But let's go to something that's a little more unique than that. Next up, this one right here by Rabiat Prestige, Ramad Oriental. So this is something completely different. This smells like Outlands by Amouage, which I probably don't have to tell you this, but Outlands is crazy expensive and for good reason. The ingredients that they use, top notch. And this right here is gonna get you as close as you can get to that if you don't want to spend big bucks. This stuff is one of those ones where you smell it and if you don't know any better, you think that this is a straight up niche fragrance. Rich spices, rich, deep, velvety, slightly warm and syrupy as well, the way that the sweetness comes across. Touch of incense smoke that cuts through. This lightly sweet, balsamic, deep, rich, ambery kind of vibe underneath. You pick that up right away. Firmly in that Middle Eastern scent profile, extremely well done. Gotta be more fall and winter time, or of an evening fragrance for a lot of people as well. Stuff smells great. Let's go mad cheap up next, just dirt cheap. You know that type of cheap where you look at the bottle and you're like, hell yeah, that is cheap, yeah. The cap is plastic that weighs nothing. Looks like they put zero effort into it. That's what I'm talking about, just fantastic. Your Touch Tobacco by Maison Alhambra, which to be fair, the side of the bottle has like a little design. So I mean, they did do that, I gotta give them that. And the atomizer is actually really good. Although I will say I bought another one of these, actually before this one, Your Touch Oud and that one leaked like a faucet. So you would spray that one on and it's just like, it would come pouring out and run down the bottle. It was rough, but this one actually works correctly. But considering it's the same presentation style and everything, they may have a little issue with that. I'm not sure. Maybe I was just unlucky. It's possible. So Your Touch Tobacco. This one right here smells like Stronger With You Tobacco. And this one's actually surprisingly good. There are some Alhambra fragrances that, as I mentioned before, they come across smelling a little cheaper, you know? Like basically what you would imagine the fragrance it's a dupe of being if it cost half or a third of the price, which can be okay, you know, depending on the fragrance. It still gets the job done, but when you smell it up close, you're like, oh, yeah, it's a little cheaper, isn't it? This one somehow does a really good job. It gets very close to Stronger With You Tobacco at a much more affordable price. So you're gonna get that, you know, warm, sexy kind of vibe that one has. Only way less. And fragrances like this become a little bit more important if the fragrance that they are a dupe of becomes discontinued and a lot harder to find. Case in point, Stronger With You Leather. So Stronger With You Leather used to be readily available at pretty much every discount. I was like 60 bucks for a 50 mil. But it was between 60, 80 bucks, you know, 62, 80 bucks, depending on the size. And it was easy to find. It's pretty much everywhere. And then one day, stock ran dry, the price went up through the roof. And then you had fragrances like Corium by Rayhan, which, that one, Corium by Rayhan. So when this one came out, Stronger With You Leather, you could still find it. So at the time it was like, well, you know, it's well done, it's good, it smells similar, but you know, you can still find the real thing for not that much more, you know, not a huge amount more. But now Stronger With You Leather is way more expensive, so something like this is like, oh, suddenly that's a great deal. That's a really good idea. So yeah, Stronger With You Leather, if you want that one, I would suggest this, Rayhan Corium, even though it's not officially in the list. But this one is Rayhan Lion. So Rayhan Lion, this is basically Ultramall if it were on steroid, which is already questionable because Ultramall is already strong. But it takes that DNA and it pumps things up, gives you more performance, better projection, longevity, the whole deal. It's that great mix of fresh and sweet that everybody knows from this scent profile, which has been done a few times, of course. But I think if you're looking for like the strongest version of that that's still really wearable and has good quality, it is that. I gotta have this one next just because of the vibes. It's Havoc from Lattafa. It's just so goth looking, I dig it. Just kind of makes me laugh. It's like, this is the fragrance that vampires would have before they go to a rave. You know, they would like look at this and go, yeah, that's the vibe. Alucard is out there rocking this one for sure. So this smells similar to Essence de Parfum, the La Male flanker, which is long discontinued. And that fragrance actually smelled similar to C.H. Brevet by Carolina Herrera, also really good. So even though this one doesn't smell as close to C.H. Brevet, if you really liked C.H. Brevet, you could probably get this one and get some similar vibes from this as well. Really good for fall and winter time. Stuff smells great. Good evening fragrance. Solid wearable leather. That's kind of what's going on there. Gotta go next with this little guy right here, Lumiere Garçon by French Avenue. Kind of a strange bottle where the cap is like, you know, 2/3 of this and then the bottle is 1/3. It's kind of a weird look. Ah! That's all right. It's no big deal. It's all good. It's all good. So this smells similar to the one Luminous Night. So this one, a clone of a discontinued fragrance. So is this one. Or for all intents and purposes in North America, that stuff is discontinued. I mean, you're not gonna find that anywhere other than eBay for like $400. And this stuff ages like a fine wine, man. Just the longer you have it, the better it gets, the deeper the color is. Just like the one Luminous Night, very rich fragrance with a good amount of dates in there. So a different type of sweetness than your more typical vanilla forward fragrance. Also a little bit of incense in here, a little smoke that gives it a nice push, especially in fall and winter. And I got another one from Fragrance World. It is this right here, Starmin Nebula, which is another discontinued fragrance. Can you tell I have a thing for that? I love fragrances that clone discontinued stuff. Like that is my vibe. So this one is a clone of Pure Malt by Terry Mugler, part of their Amen line, which is kind of odd. Not odd that they would clone that fragrance. That's a great fragrance. What's odd is they made Starmin, not Nebula, just Starmin, and that one was Amen. It makes sense, right? Then they do Starmin Nebula. I'm not sure what Nebula has to do with malt, but they did Starmin Nebula, Pure Malt. And the stuff is great. For the price point, this stuff is mad cheap and it will get you pretty close to Pure Malt. Actually, if I recall correctly, this is the first fragrance I ever bought that was done by Fragrance World. And truth be told, I thought this looked like crap. I thought this looked like kind of a weird Nautica Voyage bottle shape. And I was like, That stuff looks like, I don't know, Dollar Tree type stuff, you know, like a dollar store fragrance. Then I got it in, it was actually good. And that's when I started to buy more stuff from Fragrance World. But anyway, what I was getting at is they were set up to go after those fragrances, man. Pure Havane, Ultra Zest, Crypto Mint, Pure Tonka, like go for it, dude. But they didn't, which is like, but why? So Starman Nebula, for now, that's the one to get if you want a Mugler discontinued fragrance by Fragrance World. That's really specific, but yeah, that's the one. Dumont Celerio Oros. Ouroboros. Sounds like Resident Evil. So this one is a clone of Aventus. Yeah. And I know when I say that, a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, dude, nobody cares. Aventus, blah. There's 10 million of those, which that's true, there are, yeah. But this one flies under the radar. Not too many people out there are looking for this one, right? They're going Club de Nuit Intense Man, or they're going L'Aventure, whatever. But Oros is right there with the best of the best. The quality, the versatility, the performance, all of it is here. It smells amazing and you can use it year round. So this one, even though it's not as hyped or heralded as some of the others, it's just as good, if not better. Little Offnon 9 p.m. Rebel. Rebel. Of course, when it comes to Offnon and 9 p.m., everybody knows the original, right? The original is one of the most popular clones ever. But this one is also extremely well done and extremely popular. And you can tell because other clone brands have cloned it. Maybe they haven't come outright and said, yeah, we're cloning 9 p.m. Rebel, that's what we're doing. We're just copying them. We're copying the copiers. Because of course they're not gonna do that, right? They're not gonna come right out and admit that. Other than Fragrance World, they did do Noble Red Fragrance World, which looks exactly like Nitro Red. So they will, I guess, to be fair. Although, man, I'm just getting off track here. To be fair, 9 p.m. Rebel smells a bit like Kayed Al Frisson by Lattafa, so. Yeah. Now, in terms of how this comes across, a lot of pineapple off the top, super appealing. As it dries down, oak moss, vanilla, some woody notes in there as well. It's that type of scent that when you smell it, you know, you might draw comparisons to like 5 or 6 other things out there. Like some people will say a little Aventus in here. Other people will say a little BR 540 in here. But ultimately, it's one of those fragrances that probably is taking bits and pieces from a lot of different things, but when you put it all together, it almost becomes its own thing. Rasasi Hawass Tropical is the next one. Lovely fragrance. This stuff smells similar to Paradise Garden by Jean-Paul Gaultier, part of the LeBeau line. Obviously, very tropical, fresh, easy to wear, sweet. The quality is there. One of the better Hawass fragrances out there. Spring and summer, cannot go wrong. Stuff is great. And we'll finish with Fierté by French Avenue. This one is YSL's Baby Cat, which right this minute would work perfectly as we head into, you know, late fall, heading into winter. That fragrance, that scent profile, great, top notch. And it is a little funny because Baby Cat, for a while there, it was just like, people loved it. Everybody was like, oh, you gotta get it. Kind of like Tuxedo to an extent. And then, you know, it kind of ebbed and woo, flowed. And now people don't talk about it quite as much, but this one right here, if you want something similar to that fragrance, it's one of the best. Giveaway time. So here they are. You already know what these are. Both are still sealed. You know the drill. Like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel. In the comment, let me know what clone fragrance that you feel like is worth every penny. Just kind of matching the video, right? I'll pick a winner with random comment picker, post it up on the post out of the YouTube channel. If you were the winner, hit me up. I will ship those two out to you. Every time I do this, somebody wins and it's like they live in the Philippines or Norway. Shout out to you guys. And I'm just like, okay, cool. Let me look up the shipping for one fragrance. Oh, it's $95. What the F? But it's okay. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. Thank you for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourself. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.